Violence begets violence. Blood is repaid with blood. That vicious cycle has become a runaway wheel, grinding across deserts, ancient cities, and crowded neighborhoods of the Middle East, crushing not only military targets, but also the fragile hope of ordinary life. The most haunting question still hangs in the burning sky. When will the war stop? And when will civilians finally sleep through the night without being jolted awake by explosions, sirens, or relentless casualty reports? According to statements from Israel, its forces dropped more than 1,200 bombs on Iranian territory within 24 hours in an operation coordinated directly with the United States. It has been described as the most serious escalation since last year's brief but intense confrontation. The strikes were said to target military bases, strategic infrastructure, and locations allegedly linked to Iran's security apparatus. Yet amid the dense language of military objectives, one detail sent shockwaves through public opinion. A girls' elementary school in southern Iran was also caught in the inferno. Local sources reported staggering casualties, with hundreds killed or injured, many of them civilians and children. Images of smoke-filled classrooms, abandoned school bags, and grieving parents spread rapidly, igniting outrage across Iran. Tehran condemned the attack in the strongest terms, calling it unacceptable and vowing that it would not go unanswered. That vow was swiftly carried out. Within hours of the airstrikes, Iran launched waves of missiles and drones toward Israel and U.S. military bases scattered across the region. A general from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps stated that approximately 1,200 missiles were fired in the initial counterstrikes. Streaks of light tore through the night sky, air defense systems roared into action, and civilians on both sides once again rushed to shelters. Regional sources reported that U.S. military facilities in Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia were among the targets. Each explosion did more than shake concrete and steel. It intensified fears that the conflict could spiral into a broader regional war, drawing in states already vulnerable to instability. Tehran warned that the most intense operations in its history could be launched at any moment against Israel and the United States, declaring that strikes would continue until what it called provocations ceased. These warnings carried not only military weight, but also domestic significance, signaling to the Iranian public that the leadership remained in control and prepared to defend national dignity. Washington responded in kind. U.S. President Donald Trump cautioned Iran to halt its retaliatory actions immediately or face what he described as an unprecedented military response. Through public statements and social media posts, firm language underscored the message that the United States would not back down. Meanwhile, Israel expanded its campaign. The military confirmed airstrikes in central Tehran, marking one of the rare instances in which Iran's capital became a direct target during the renewed hostilities. Officials said the strikes aimed at government-linked sites and ballistic missile systems to establish air superiority and diminish Iran's capacity to retaliate. The willingness to strike deep into the adversary's territory signaled either growing confidence or increasing desperation in military strategy. Iran's missile arsenal has long been considered one of the most significant deterrent forces in the Middle East. Previous military assessments have suggested that Tehran possesses thousands of ballistic missiles of varying ranges. While exact figures remain debated, few deny that this capability creates enormous strategic risk. Each launch heightens the chance of further escalation. Thick columns of smoke rising over Tehran and other cities fueled panic. Residents stockpiled food, lined up for fuel, and struggled to contact loved ones as communications networks became strained. Across the border in Israel, sirens pierced the night, sending families scrambling into shelters. Children have grown accustomed to distinguishing between the sound of a school bell and that of an air raid alarm, a grim testament to the normalization of conflict. The international community has called for restraint. Governments and organizations have warned that without de-escalation, the confrontation could slip beyond control, with severe consequences for regional security, global markets, and humanitarian conditions. Yet amid growing fragile diplomatic appeals, realities on the ground continue to be decided by missiles and bombs. What is perhaps most troubling is not merely the volume of weaponry, but the mindset of no retreat that appears to guide each side. Iran argues it must respond to safeguard national security and honor. The United States and Israel maintain that decisive action is necessary to deter future threats. Each presents its own logic. Placed side by side, however, these justifications reveal no clear path towards peace. In the grand theater of geopolitics, decisions are made in secured rooms under bright lights, with maps and intelligence briefings spread across polished tables. The consequences, however, fall upon modest homes, bustling markets, and lively classrooms. Ordinary people in Iran, Israel, and neighboring countries do not order missile launches or airstrikes, yet they live with the constant anxiety that an explosion could interrupt dinner, or that a tremor in the night might signal something far worse. The current escalation also carries long-term risks. Each strike on a U.S. base may justify expanded American military involvement. Each deep Israeli air raid may compel Tehran to widen its retaliation. As red lines blur, the risk of miscalculation grows, and a single unintended incident could ignite a conflict far larger than any initially envisioned. The Middle East has endured too many wars, too many generations raised amid gunfire. What the region needs most now is not another threat or demonstration of strength, but a genuine moment of restraint from at least one side, a courageous decision sufficient to break the chain reaction of retaliation. Without such a pause, the wheel of vengeance will continue to turn, claiming lives and futures of those who seek nothing more than normalcy. Peace in this context may seem distant, even elusive, yet precisely because it feels so rare, it becomes all the more precious. When the explosions eventually fade, if they do, the task will extend beyond rebuilding shattered buildings. It will require restoring trust among communities long shaped by suspicion and grief. And the question, when will the war end, will only find its answer when leaders recognize that no victory is truly complete if it stands upon the ashes of cities and the broken memories of childhood. Thank you for watching this story. If you found it meaningful, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for staying with Societal Stories.